All right, so there's a guy named Eric Weinstein. He was on a podcast, I think it's called Modern Wisdom. They talk about various topics, but today they were kind of talking about some sciencey stuff. So I had to cut out all the nerdy stuff because the people on the team were like, "Oh, Sean, this is so." So I'm just get to the point. Christians aren't the only ones worried about the end times. I'm gonna explain after you watch this.
One field that has the chance of making us interplanetary. And I don't know what to do about it because nobody sees this as the emergency I do. Take anybody with 11 figures. What is your allocation to building a life raft to get humans out of here? It's not personal. And we also have a responsibility. This is a really crazy part. We doomed humanity. We doomed humanity on Earth. And I'm just thinking, do you not feel any basic responsibility after Hiroshima and Nagasaki and COVID? Just how crazy are you?
Is that, we've spoken about the interplanetary challenge.
Right.
Is it the highest priority?
The highest priority. You cannot stabilize this place. Just imagine every communalist dream came true. We turned away from fossil fuels towards the greenest New Deal you could possibly imagine. All billionaires realized the errors of their ways and contributed their money to bring up the poorest of the poor. AI was as beneficial as it could be and only helped humanity to live its dreams. Just go full, wild Pollyanna optimism. You still can't stabilize it. Too many people. It's just, I couldn't be more angry about anything else in the world. How can you take the lifeboat community, the only community that can get us a way out of here, and run it into the ground?
I like the term the lifeboat community.
It's time to save everybody, and we've got huge responsibilities. We carry a lot of responsibility for getting everybody into this mess, and now we've got to offer everybody a way out.
All right, so let me explain what's going on here. So I always find it funny, and I cut out the nerdy stuff. I can't imagine if you saw the whole thing. It's always funny to me to see atheists like a look into their religion, because it's a religion.
Yeah.
It actually mirrors Christianity pretty closely. They have their own prophets. They have their own theology. They have their own denominations. It's
really?
Yeah. They cannot escape God even if they try. They just can't. So essentially, this is just a brief overview of what's going on. There's this huge war right now, like East Coast West Coast beef in the world of physics, and they're arguing over some theories. This theory versus that theory, and they're battling. Like there's actually like, you guys like battle rap? It's like battle videos amongst these dudes, like going at each other. The Neil deGrasse Tysons and all these people, right? He's one of them. And so there's this whole thing about we have to do this. And what was interesting to me is they talk so much about the end of the world. And it's like, the end of the world? This guy says that he consults with a lot of rich people, a lot of people with tons of money. He said 11 figures. I had never even heard of that before. And he says everybody is worried about the end of the world. They think between nuclear war or disease or greenhouse gases or whatever, they feel like this world is coming to an end. And their goal is to get off of it. They're trying to leave the planet. That's their end times. And they're constantly worried about everything you see in the media is rich people arguing over how we're going to save the planet or some fraction of it. That's what they actually are thinking about on a daily basis. Elon Musk trying to go to Mars, that's part of it. Jeff Bezos building the space, that's part of it. Once you get to a certain level of fame and money, your normal problems go away and you start thinking about the end of the world. And that's what they're focused on.
Well, yeah, I saw something where they talk about they're building houses on the moon and try to get civilians there.
So it was just so interesting to me is that as much as they try to run away from God, they can't escape the truths of the world he made.
Yeah.
Even they believe it's coming to an end. Even they have their own structures they've created that mirror the structure that God creates.
Yeah.
Like they have these celebrity physicists in their world, and they represent like the celebrity pastors we have in our world.
Like Bill Nye.
Yeah, all of those guys. And it's so interesting how hard they try to get away from the truth. They end up back at a alternate version of the truth.
It just reminded me of, you ever saw the movie 2012?
Yes.
There's a part of
Yeah.
it when they like try to build an ark again because of the storms and all this other stuff.
That stuff is not fake.
Yeah.
That is what they are really
Yeah,
thinking
that's what I'm
about.
saying, yeah.
That's
And-
not a movie. They're
Yeah.
actually planning to try to survive some
But the funny part
world-ending
about
event.
all this is like it doesn't even have nothing to do with the world actually. Like it has stuff to do with your like when Jesus comes back and takes people and it has nothing to do about like it's going to be a new earth, like it has nothing to do with this world. I think people are so caught up in their. I think what it is almost the Egyptians all over again. It's exactly that.
Take it with them.
Try to take your material items with you because you don't want you. I mean, here's the thing: the Bible talks about having a rich inheritance for your family's family.
Yeah.
And some of these people are like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave this for my dog. I'm gonna leave this. I'm gonna get this money to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave this money to this organization. And you got kids.
Yeah.
And they like, well, they got to defend themselves. And it's like, you're not even leaving it now. Not saying they don't have a business that they could run. Their kids part of and probably got stock and whatever. And but at the same time, you would think that will be the case. And I just think that's so funny. It just reminds me. The number one thing in my mind, I thought about that movie. But then the second thing was like. This reminds me of the Egyptians all over again. It's just like, I want to take my stuff with me to paradise. No, you're not.
But just imagine spending your whole life chasing after your own wisdom and not knowing the truth.
Yeah.
That's what I hear.
No, refusing the truth.
Refusing the truth.
They don't. Okay, they've heard it, but they don't know it. Like they're seeking a truth, and they're missing the actual truth. The answer to every single thing this guy is worried about is in the Bible.
Yeah.
And he refuses it.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you imagine living your life this worried about
Right,
your life?
absolutely.
He is scared of his future.
Yeah.
And the answer is right in front of your face,
But
and you don't
still,
accept it.
I mean, let's say you run to the ends of the earth, or you run to Mars, or you run to the moon, and there's still an ultimate day that's going to come. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to live forever.
I think all this research or all this panic for them is a waste of time because you're not promised tomorrow.
But
now, they don't know that.
Yeah.
But they should know it. We see enough
That's
accidents
when
happen.
they say that rich people problems. That's when
Yeah,
it's to
this-
that where
this
we
is-
we don't even know how to comprehend that.
But
kind
here's
of
why
stuff.
it matters. This is why it matters that these are their problems, because they run the world. They decide how the world goes, and this is what they're primarily concerned about. You need to know that.
But this shows them that they're not in control. That's
Ultimately.
it shows them like we think we're in control, but we don't know what's going. We don't know if it's like you said. We don't know if it's an atomic bomb. We don't know if it's a natural disaster. We don't
They
know
have
if this,
no control.
We don't know if they're saying that a comet is supposed to hit the Earth in 2024 or
Right.
come near the Earth. A big comet, almost like the size of a country or a state or whatever. I can't remember what they said, but it's so many gambles and chance stuff that people are talking about that if you just believe the Lord and what he said, and I think that's the funny. I think sometimes money is our God. Like money becomes our God to the point where you're listening to that and you're chasing after that, and it's just like that thing that that meme of you running after stuff and stuff just falling off you and you die and you just go right into the grave, and it's just that. It's like you can't take your stuff with you. Like I think people think that, you know what I mean, and they think that. My possessions is this, or like even like you said, how we save the world. We gotta say it's like you try to be a hero when there's already a hero that if you just submit to that hero.
I just want to say this to all the young kids growing up in a school system that teaches you everything that these people believe.
Yeah.
They believe in evolution. They believe in the Big Bang. They believe in all this stuff, right? They teach it to you since you're really small because they want to make sure you're getting to their
Theology,
doctrine.
yeah.
They want you in their theology right away, right? Just a warning to all the people who are growing up thinking that what these people are saying is true. Investigate. They don't know anything. All this stuff that they told you since you were a kid, the Big Bang, how time works, black holes, all this nonsense that these people invest their whole lives in, they don't know anything about it. They argue every single day because they are not even sure about what they believe. There's conversations in their community right now where they're questioning themselves on even if the Big Bang exists. These are the people who are teaching your children in school. They are now admitting they don't know anything.
And then they teach your kids in college that Jesus don't exist, God don't exist, and push the Big Bang, but then they don't believe in the Big Bang.
They don't know nothing. And that's why they're fighting right now, because the people who put all that stuff in your textbooks, these guys are saying they're wrong. So now they're fighting. They both don't believe in Jesus, but now they're fighting amongst each other.
Yeah.
Like we fight amongst ourselves.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah,
They can't escape the truth of the Bible. They end up mirroring it, even if they don't want to. They can't get away from God's plan.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to highlight this, is because I just remember growing up being like, man, I'm being taught something so opposite to what I believe and what I learned from my parents. How does a child survive in a world that everybody's telling them the opposite about Christ? The good news is they lied. They have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Listen to them. Don't take my word for it. Look up these videos on YouTube. They are admitting out loud, we don't know what we're talking about. We thought we knew. We do not know now.
Yeah.
They're questioning everything. Evolution, Big Bang, all of it. Everything that they were so sure about. They
So-
are now saying, we don't know.
Okay, so what's the, and I know we should for time.
Yeah.
So like, what's something that they're saying about Big Bang that's now like a gatepost for so many years that they were so adamant about it?
I'm trying not to get nerdy with y'all. But the reason, a lot of the reason why they believe in the Big Bang is because they believe the universe is expanding.
Yeah.
They're starting to realize that they may have been wrong about that. If they're wrong about that, that changes a lot of stuff. They shoot up these telescopes in the sky to see further and further into the universe. They're realizing that it's totally different than what they thought it was. And that's why this excites me. I'm a STEAM kid, right? If you don't know what that means, it's okay. This is really fascinating to me that these guys swore they knew what they were talking about, and just looking further into God's creation, they're starting to realize they were wrong. God is continually confounding these people, and it's
that's good.
beautiful. It's
That's
beautiful. Anyway, let's get back into it. You in the field with the Trackstarz, Ryan Righteous, Sean Tanner, DJ Jeremiah. Let's go.